All right. So today is the day that we move on in what we have been reviewing for the last 3 weeks. We have been looking at the Science of Mind text, specifically the introduction to the Science of Mind textbook that consists of 4 sections. It consists of reading around the thing itself, the way it works, what it does, and how to use it. And we've been spending our time this month reviewing and discussing the introduction. And the introduction is full of wisdom and insight. In fact, I think it really spells out everything in the book. If you can get that part of it, you've got it. And so we're continuing on with that talk today. And our theme for the month is trust. Let's begin. That's what we've been looking at. That's what we've been talking about. And so our principles today that we are looking at is principle number 2, from what we believe. We believe in the individualization of the Spirit in us, and that all people are individualizations of the one Spirit. We believe that heaven is within us, and that we experience it to the degree that we become conscious of it. We believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete freedom from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. We believe that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind, which receives the direct impress of our thought and acts upon it. So we've been talking about this idea of the thing itself, it being consciousness, which is our conscious mind and our subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind then is the thing that we call the law of mind. And I just want to read for you this morning a reading that I took out of Richer Living. It's a book by Ernest Holmes and Raymond Charles Barker. And I'm reading from page 25. It really kind of sums up a lot of what we've been talking about, so I just wanted to share it with you. On the reading from January 25th, its title is, "Today I Walk in the Light of God's Love." It has a quote from John 4:24. It says that God is a spirit, and that they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. And the Bhagavad Gita says that I, the Father of this universe, the Mother, the Supporter, the Grandsire, the Holy One to be known, the Word of Power. This lesson today goes on to tell us that God is the Father, the Mother, and the Supporter of all. It tells us that from the oneness of God proceeds the law, the essence of the Word. Then it tells us that God is Spirit. Wonderful indeed in this conception of the union of all life, which Jesus proclaimed in the ecstasy of his illumination, I and the Father are one. All cause and effect proceed from the invisible, all cause and effect proceed from the invisible Spirit. Man is one with the Spirit and cannot be separated from it. His word has power because his word is the action of God through his thought. Power is, we use it, we do not create it. Let us seek to use the power of this word more generously with a greater idea of its benefit, its abundance, and its availability. When we learn to believe, then our belief is increased. Receiving much, we shall receive more. Giving everything, we shall in return receive all. Let us be willing to die to the lesser in order to become resurrected into the greater. This is the true meaning of the thought that we must lose our lives in order to find them. Naturally, we must let go of the ignorance if we would gain knowledge. We must stop walking in the darkness if we would talk in the light. Today, I walk in the light of God's love. Today, I am guided, and my guidance is multiplied. I know exactly what to do, exactly how to do it. There is an inspiration within me which governs every act, every thought, in certainty, with conviction and peace. So if you don't have that book, that is a great book to get. So as I said, we've been reviewing our textbook and the introduction of it. And it starts out with the thing itself. What we might call God or Mother, Father, God, or Spirit or Divine Presence, Buddha, whatever it is that you call it. We said that it is consciousness, that it is the conscious mind, that it consists of then the conscious mind and the unconscious mind. What we said is that we don't know a great deal about this mind, but we know how to use it. We don't know a great deal about this mind, but we know how to use it. We said that it is not person, it is not place, it is not thing. It is our conscious mind and our unconscious mind. We said that it is our thoughts and what happens with our thoughts. It is our thoughts and what happens with our thoughts. And we believe that thoughts are things. And we believe then that our world is a reflection of our thoughts and our thinking. We believe that this creative substance that is within us and around us, that we have the power to use it through our thinking to create the life that we desire. And what we said was that we're not talking about all thoughts, we're talking about those thoughts that are peppered with our feelings and our emotions. That those are the thoughts then that is acted upon. Those are the thoughts then that get created in our life. And we said all of this to say then that we can no longer blame anyone or anything outside of ourselves if we don't have the life, if we're not living the life that we desire. So it puts the onus, it puts the responsibility right back in our laps. And that's what I love about this teaching. It's on you. It's on you. And so then what we said, what we've been saying then is we've got to have a greater understanding of what it does and the way it works. We said that it gives and we take, that it imparts, that we receive, that it tells and we understand, that it is and we become. I'll say it one more time. We said that it gives and we take, it imparts, we receive, it tells, we understand, it is, and we become. And so when we are looking at consciousness then, that is our thoughts and what happens with our thoughts, then we begin to understand that we are dealing with that which is visible, but more so we are taking a look at what is invisible. That which is invisible. We liken it to the rich soil of the infinite all good. We can't see it, but we know that once the seed has been planted into the rich soil, that it must give us what we are desiring. It must give us what we've planted. If we planted a carrot seed, we are sure to get a carrot. And so it's true of our thoughts. If we plant a thought that's a high vibrational thought that's toward good, that is affirming life, then we must get that back in our lives. That's the way it works. And so then we said that this rich soil, this invisible substance that's around us, that it's intelligent. It's intelligent, it just simply knows what to do. It doesn't require any work on our part to tell it what to do. None of us digs down or digs up the soil and get into it and then tells the soil what to do. We don't do that. That's not how it works. So this intelligence, this soil, our unconscious mind, it accepts our thoughts. And it gives us what we are thinking. Doesn't necessarily always give us what we say that we desire through the mouth. But it will for sure give you what you are thinking, those thoughts that are peppered with feelings and emotion. There's a difference there. And we said that this law, that it works for all alike. No matter who you are and what you think. No matter who you are and what you think. And so now this law of mind, this unconscious mind, the rich soil, its nature is always towards good, and it is infinite. So there's no space in for us to be believing that it will run out of whatever it is that you think it will run out of. That there's not enough, in other words. It's infinite in its givingness. It will never run out of love. It never runs out of joy. It never runs out of peace. It never runs out of the substance. It never runs out of abundance. It never runs out of it. It's infinite in its nature. And so then we said that we have to find time then to get still and to go into the silence so that we can begin to pay attention to our thoughts, to become more and more aware of what we are thinking. That's the work for us to do, to pay attention to our thoughts. So I'm reading a paragraph from the Science of Mind textbook, the introduction, page 54. Ernest Holmes says about this law, he says that a practitioner uses thought definitely and for specific purposes. And the more definitely he or she uses the law, the more directly will it respond to him or her. A false fact is neither person nor thing to the one who uncovers it, and once uncovered, it has no place in which to hide. The illusion, seen and understood, is made negative in the experience of the one who suffered by it. While it is true that wrong conditions exist, they could not remain unless there were someone to experience them. Consequently, the experience must be in consciousness. Change the consciousness and the false condition will disappear. Conditions are not entities, we are entities. Cannot that which is conscious cast out that which has no consciousness? If we properly understood, we would be able to remove false conditions as easily as Jesus did. He knew, but our faith sometimes is weak, and we must strengthen it, and we can. So, as I said, the work then is to be present with our thoughts. To take time to be in the stillness and the silence, to be present with our thoughts. That's called awareness. Even if your thoughts are those kind of thoughts that's kind of rapid and on fire and repeating themselves, or even if you are in a place where you are not aware of your thoughts, where we don't know what we think, where we think we know everything, even if that's your case, you still need to find time to be in the silence, to get still, to become aware of what it is that you're thinking. Or, if we are ones who abide in high thoughts, then ours then is to get still and get silent, to begin to experience even a greater awareness, so that we are ensuring that we are not limiting the unlimited. It doesn't matter where you fall in that category, if you're up or down, if you're in rapid fire one day and high thoughts another day, it doesn't matter. You still want to be aware of what you are thinking. Be aware of your thoughts. And so we said then that our challenge then is in, number one, is whether or not we believe that it even works the way that we said, that Ernest Holmes says, that many of the mystics have said that it works. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Either way, you will find that the law will work by not working, demonstrating that it works. Either way. I said, either way, whether we believe or not, we will find that the law works by demonstrating that it doesn't work. It's demonstrated to you that it does work by not working. And so the other thing then, the other piece then is that in terms of how to use it, it's not a real question of how to use it. I think we all know how to use it. We talked about the tools over and over and over and over again. It's not so much that, but it's a question then of rather we use it or not. Rather we use it or not, because I think that, many, many years ago when Finis Quimby and some of the others and some of the ancient folks who didn't live in a world of high technology, they might have been more inclined to go within, to heal themselves, to engage and be present with the power that is within them. But us, not so much. We can go to the hospital and get something real easy and real quick, and they're more than willing to give it to us. And for the most part, we don't use it because most of us, our needs are met. We have a home, most of us. We have food, most of us. We have clothes, most of us. We have cars, most of us. If we don't have a car, we have Uber and Lyft. We can get where we need to get real easy. But back in the day, they didn't have all those things. And so, so for those reasons and many more, we don't use it. And so, since we don't use it, then we've got to be honest with ourselves and say then that we are just settling. We have settled with being okay with what is. We have settled with being okay with just having those things that we need that really mostly comes from outside of ourselves, that are external and that sometimes will be with us and sometimes won't. And so, or some of us then, we don't use it because we're scared and we're running. Because if we took time long enough to be still and to be silent, we'd have to be with our thoughts, we'd have to be with what our life and what's presenting in our life. And because all those other things are met, we just settle. Say, it's okay. I got some food, I got somewhere to lay down. The rest doesn't matter. Because the truth is that for some of us, it's just too painful. It's just too painful. And so we settle. And we don't use it. And we don't in any way engage in the activity that will create the life that we desire. But it's not all right. It's not all right because we are no longer using our power. We've given our power away. It's not all right. It's not all right for some of us going home at night at night and not being able to sleep. That's not all right. It's not all right for some of us to be living in a world where we are always on high alert and wrought with anxiety. It's not all right. It's not all right for us to just be living where we're just existing, where we might be a tad bit miserable. It's not all right when we have the power within us to create whatever life that we desire if we believe it and